This video is going to go a little bit longer than the other ones, but please stay until the end. Before we begin today, please don't leave this page until you visited the description area and would have downloaded the resources that have been added today. Today, we want to take a special look at the importance of knowing that we were designed to be plant-based. In Genesis chapter 1, let us revisit that verse 29. Bible says, "And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food." Genesis 1:29. So, as we know, the original diet was man being given this instruction, and we went over that in a previous presentation. I'll have it linked in the description, and you can go to it also just by clicking the I above. Right now, we want to focus on the fact of the human machinery being actually designed to run off of these things. You see, first of all, just look at the physiology. The physiology of man and the physiology of animals back in the day were designed to be plant-based. Animals, of course, had to adapt because unlike us, and speaking practically as we did in that presentation, they can't obviously do many of the things that we do to eat of the original diet. And of course, sin, as a result, caused them to be the way that they are. Just as there are thorns upon roses, animals now have fangs and all these things. That is a survival mechanism, just to be blunt. But the human machinery was not designed originally to consume animal flesh. In fact, like I said, looking at the physiology, our teeth, the way that they're designed, you don't have a mouth full of canines. No, you don't. Practically speaking, we adapted because we now are subsisting on the flesh of animals. But the original plan was for us to be plant-based, subsisting off of whole foods, life-giving, enzyme-producing foods, not on the carcasses of dead animals. But there's hope. You see, friends, we were designed by God, and we were manufactured by God. So the designer and the manufacturer, the architect and the constructor are one and the same. And so he knows what to put in our bodies. I share the testimony often of this lady that I knew. I remember one day we were co-workers and we were on our way to work, and I was in her car. She was driving an Element. That was a car back in the day. And we came to the gas station, and I will never forget the incident as long as I live. She pulled up to the cheap gas pump, and she goes, "Ew, I'm not putting that in my car." All the while, she was chugging on a bottle of Pepsi. And I'm looking at her incredulously, dear listener, because I could see the blatant irony. I remember saying to her afterwards, after I got over the initial shock, of course, I said to her, "How could you put what you just did into your body, but spend a little extra to make sure that you had premium gas for your car? You just treated your car better than you did your body." To this day, I have not forgotten that testimony because it reminded me that we are doing the same things even here in 2022. We were actually designed to run on premium stuff, my friends. And when we put animal and animal products into our bodies, this is not premium stuff. We were designed to eat, as you saw right there in Genesis, from the life-giving, life-producing things of nature. In fact, many of the animals that we consume eat those things, and we take them in secondhand. Wouldn't it be better to get them from the primary source? Yes, many of us are not in the condition, many of us are, frankly, not in the financial status that we need to be able to have all these things that we truly need. But, here's the thing. All we have to do is do our best. We could eliminate, we could supplement. And speaking of which, before I came in to record this, I was on Facebook with a couple of sisters who were sharing testimonies about them being formerly vegans, vegetarians, and how their bodies were not, well, in essence, their bodies were not assimilating to their new diet plan. And the problem was that, like myself, I remember when I first became a vegetarian that I thought that's what it was all about, just getting off of meat. But I forgot to supplement. Because what I was getting secondhand from the animals, I was no longer getting it, and I had to get it through the plants. And one thing I know, especially about, I live in Florida, especially about the Florida soil, it is very nutritionally, minerally depleted. And I know this for many other areas, of course. Not only has sin done a number on our world, but mankind, in its bloodlust for real life monopoly real estate, has depleted the soil of its natural nourishment. And you know what they do? They put it in a capsule. I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. At least it's there, available. And so I encourage you, friends, just as much as the people who design cars tell you to put in this certain type of gas, oil, put these certain type of tires, and all these things for it to run optimally, the God who created us, who designed us, says to us, this is the food that has been designed for you. This is the food that you were designed to consume. Friends, animal flesh is dead flesh. When you bite into an apple, banana, grapes, when you partake of those things that have seeds, and we know these days that many of our food products are coming seedless. Friend of mine, do not at all costs, if you could help it, consume these things. That's genetic modification at its highest level. Fruits were designed to come with seeds. Seeds actually act like the medicines that we're talking about just now, the vitamins and the mineral pills. Those are the natural ones. If we only knew what we're missing when we don't chew on those seeds. And of course, like I said, there's agenda behind all these things because they rob the soil of its nutrients, and then they sell us vitamins and minerals, and then they also sell us seeds, which they have stored up for themselves. Beloved, as I close out, I remind you, we were designed to be plant-based. We were designed to run off of those things that are highly nutritional for us, and animal products are not. Animal flesh is not. Yes, we need to have our diets modified. We need to get to the place where we can go back to God's original ideal for us. You see, the hypocrisy of it is that there are many people who are talking about, oh, we got to save the planet, we have to save the planet. And yet, they're not doing a thing to save the planet. All they're doing is talking. Just by them consuming meat, they are causing pollution and all these things to be released into the planet. Friend of mine, I want you to understand one thing. One thing. Like I said, please visit the description area for additional information, and please check out the original plan video. Like I said, one thing I want you to understand, and it is this. It is your health, your choice. But as in nature, whatever you are sowing right now, you will reap. Today, you are making all types of excuses as to why you can't do this or you can't do that. Remember our previous video. Remember that one. You can. There is always a recipe for success. Again, to all of you who are believers, remember that you were designed by a God who knows what he is doing. It's only because of sin why animal flesh was introduced into the diet. In our next series of studies, we're going to talk about God's ideal when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. But for right now, I just want to say to those people who have no clue that God wanted mankind to go back to the original diet. So he started off his people with manna and water. They were the ones who cried out for flesh. God did not introduce flesh into the diet. They cried out for it. And God, being who he is, as he does, says, okay. My dear listeners, as we continue to focus on our health, I encourage you to realize that there's a reason why God said what he said in Genesis 1:29. It matters. If you care about the planet, if you care about life, you will choose your own. You will choose to live. And one way you can do that is by going back into the manual and see what the designer planned for your body, for your mind, for your spirit.